In today's video, I want to talk about shadow work. I'm hoping by the end of this video, I will have sold the concept to you so well that you'll start doing shadow work. And if you're really interested in doing shadow work, then check out my next video where I'm going to explain the process and how to do shadow work. So by the end of this video, you should understand what shadow work is, what happens if you don't do shadow work, how you can spot your shadow, and the benefits of doing shadow work. See, the shadow is our hidden self. It's any part of us that we have hidden to fit in, to be accepted. The shadow is a psychological term for everything we can't see in ourselves. An example I heard somebody use recently, which I thought was really good and explained it really well. Imagine as a child, you saw something upsetting and you cried. One of your parents said to you, "Stop crying, stop being such a baby, pull yourself together." Your response may be to repress that sensitive side to you. Or it could be that you love singing and you're singing along and your teacher tells you to be quiet, or your parents tell you to be quiet and tell you, like, you know, we don't need to hear that song again, do we, Charlie? You may decide, right, I'm not going to sing again because obviously nobody wants to hear that, and you repress it. The shadow self represents any part of ourself that we've disowned, that we don't accept as part of ourselves. So there's this side to us that we've repressed. Just to be clear, repression is when we push things down not even knowing that we're doing it, and that happens subconsciously, and suppression is when we consciously push things down. But ultimately, whether it's suppression or repression, it's not going anywhere. It's still there. Repression creates something in psychology known as cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a disconnect between who you think you are and who you really are. It causes a feeling of mental discomfort when we have conflicting beliefs and attitudes and behaviours. By doing shadow work, you'll be eliminating some of these problems. Let me read something from Dr. David Hawkins' book. This is one of my favourite books. As you might have noticed, I mention it a few times in my videos. So this is Letting Go. We carry around with us a huge reservoir of accumulated negative feelings, attitudes and beliefs. The accumulated pressure makes us miserable and is the basis of many of our illnesses and problems. The pressure of suppressed feelings is later felt as irritability, mood swings, tension in the muscles of the neck and back, headaches, cramps, menstrual disorders, colitis, indigestion, insomnia, hypertension, allergies and other somatic conditions. When we repress a feeling, it is because there is so much guilt and fear over the feeling that it is not even consciously felt at all. It becomes instantly thrust into the unconscious as soon as it threatens to emerge. The repressed feeling is then handled in a variety of ways to ensure that it stays repressed and out of awareness. Because emotions emit a vibrational energy field, they affect and determine the people who are in our lives. Life events become influenced by our repressed and suppressed emotions on the psychic level, i.e. the shadow. The basic rule of the psychic universe is that like attracts like. Because all things are connected on vibrational energy levels, our basic emotional state is picked up and reacted to by all life forms around us. It is well known that animals can instantly read a person's basic emotional state. There are experiments demonstrating that even the growth of bacteria is affected by human emotions, and that plants register measurable reactions to our emotional state. It is resisting that keeps the feeling going. Thank you, Dr. David. We don't have to deal with our shadow. We don't have to, but we will have a very limited life. Let me read this by Carl Jung. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. If an inferiority is conscious, one always has a chance to correct it. But if it is repressed and isolated from consciousness, it never gets corrected. A man who is possessed by his shadow is always standing in his own light and falling into his own traps, living below his own level. Any part of you that you have not accepted and you've resisted and pushed away will always want to be seen. The Greeks knew any goddess or gods that you ignored would turn on you and attack you and destroy you. When we ignore and push away a side to us which is truly us, then we'll find it turns on us. What we resist persists. One of the great benefits of shadow work is that you become more authentic. 80% of the work is actually just being aware of what those unconscious things are in your life, because then once you're aware of it, you can accept those things and let them go. When you shine light on a shadow, it gets smaller and then it impacts your life less. So there are 3 or 4 ways we can spot our shadow. So triggers. Triggers are the universe's way of healing you, saying there's stuff down there, there's stuff repressed, we need to get this energy out. Remember, your trapped energy is attracting all the time into your life. So if you've ever had it when something's triggered you, you've been fine and then somebody says something and for some reason you turn into this monster. You're normally this lovely, sweet, calm person and then something happened and it was like, whoa, what happened there? You suddenly went into fight or flight mode. You suddenly felt like you were being attacked. It's when the rational part of the mind will shut down. If you've ever read the book Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, you'll know that he calls this the amygdala hijack. It's a very good book if you haven't read it. So when something triggers you, make a note of it. Become aware of it. Awareness is 80% there. Another way you can spot shadows is projection. So when you're looking at somebody else and criticizing them, judging somebody else, you're actually looking at yourself. And it's not just criticizing. It can also be when we see somebody and we think, gosh, they're so attractive, and we kind of get obsessed, or there's something about them and they seem perfect. You're looking at what you've rejected about yourself. Whatever qualities we deny in ourselves, we see in others. Interesting, isn't it? When we disown those things, we're confronted with them in other people. When something in somebody else irritates us and we think, oh, it's so annoying, isn't it? Aren't they annoying? So annoying. You are actually looking at you. Everybody is mirroring us. I'm just going to read something from Awareness by Anthony DeMello and see if you can relate to this. Imagine a patient who goes to a doctor and tells him what he is suffering from. The doctor says, very well, I've understood your symptoms. I will prescribe a medicine for your neighbour. The patient replies, thanks so much, doctor. That makes me feel so much better. Isn't that absurd? But that's what we all do. How wonderful would it be if somebody else would change? How wonderful life would be if my neighbour changed, my wife changed, my boss changed. We always want someone else to change so that we will feel good. See, in psychology, this is termed as projection. Anything we deny in ourselves, we project on other people. The ego will constantly be defending you. The ego will always play good, say how good you are. Let me just read something Carl Jung says. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The more you pay attention to your behaviours and your emotions, the better chances you have of catching your shadow in the act. And Robert Johnson says, unless we do conscious work on our shadow, it is almost always projected. It is neatly laid on someone or something else so that we do not have to take responsibility for it. By not doing shadow work, you're going to be dragging around all this repressed stuff, this baggage, which is exhausting, and it will sap your energy. Mental suppression can lead to physical pain and disease. Carl Jung also says that when you do shadow work, you liberate a tremendous reservoir of energy you were unconsciously investing in protecting yourself. It will give you a more realistic assessment of who you really are. It will improve your relationships with your friends, your family, your loved ones. Another way you can spot your shadow is if you find that you're experiencing repeated circumstances. So if you keep attracting the same sort of people into your life, or you keep repelling certain people from your life, it's highly likely there is an energy force that is being projected and you're not even aware of it. You keep having the same experiences. That is a clue that you have a shadow, something that you've repressed, something that you've pushed down. You're really unblocking your life so that you can be free to be who you really are, your authentic self. And then you'll more easily attract the things you want into your life. Another way you can spot your shadow is through journaling and asking yourself certain questions, which will uncover the shadow in your life. But I'm going to explain that more in my next video. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and please comment below because I'd love to hear your feedback. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.